The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and The Tech Insider, David White.
And welcome all to another wonderful edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble but lovable and squeezably soft host, David White. Along today with our engineers, Steve and Al. Mostly Steve, as Al goes to lunch during this period during the day. But mostly Steve, or as we know him as Disco Steve. Dredging back up really bad music from the 70s and 80s. Reliving his childhood youth. Anyway, remind yourself when you call today at 877-927-6648 to ask for Disco Steve. Anyway, what do we have? Market's up about 5 points on the S&P. Cash volume is low at about 2 billion shares as we start the show. We're going to be looking at probably a lot of charts here since we just kind of broke out, but not a lot of follow through, not a lot of volume here today, and we're seeing some interesting movements in stocks, and we're going to look at some of them. I did bring up this on the Tom O'Brien show on Friday night, and I wanted to look at this one very interestingly. It doesn't look like it's going to have a huge amount of volume, but it might make it. And that was, I think it's Qihu 360 technology. Its symbol is QIHU, and it had been up just hanging out at those highs with no volume over the last 4 or 5, 6 days. Now we're getting a lot of volume. Kind of a pattern that I've seen in a lot of these stocks, that you get one day of juice and then the rest of the time it just kind of fades out and kind of flop around a little bit. But fairly interesting out here. 3.6 million shares going up against 5.6 million shares. So it's not a rousing endorsement. We've got enough time left with 2 hours in the trading day to maybe get that above that high. But that'd be very interesting, especially from the news reports coming out of China, where it looks like the housing market may be starting to crack with all those homes that are unlived in maybe coming home to roost. Anyway, looking and seeing that a lot of home prices are rapidly coming down in China, and maybe the bubble is burst in all those ghost cities. I think pretty much over last night. Didn't seem to affect the market as much as I thought it might, but still very interesting. But we've got a lot of stocks to look at here today. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648, and we can discuss that. But a lot of these stocks just hanging out here with a very light volume up against fairly stiff resistance, and just buy. And I guess that'd be it. Yeah, we're just overall consolidated New York Stock Exchange take volume 2 billion shares on a Monday is light. Again, we're going to probably go into summer here where this is going to be a little bit more, on Mondays and Fridays, a little bit lighter volumes out here. But to see this in early May is somewhat problematic, I would say, and may mean that we're going to a 3-day work week in the marketplace if we can't get volume moving up. We are at the point right now where it's going to be a super bubble, or Ben Bernanke decides to put a little fire on the water, or on the water on the fire, instead of throwing gasoline on it, as he said before. The question is, if we got one more tick down in the unemployment numbers, would that give him cover to actually start pulling back a little bit? Of course, they changed the language that they could add or pull back the supply of money each month. The actual word he used was throttle. And he said he could go either way. If it needed more, he'd go more. If it needed less, he could go less. But I have a feeling that means less. They spent $550,000 or loaned $550,000 for each new job started in just the last year. So monetary policy by itself has not been all that successful. And, of course, we have both, I would say, Asia probably closer to looking at being in a recession in some areas. Indonesia had some really horrible numbers over the weekend. But China is probably down from its 10% growth to maybe 5%. And they've done a lot of work to cool that housing market down. And I think that's probably going to be a good reason why growth is going to come way down in China, probably to the 4 or 5% level that it should be to be manageable. What else can we say? Of course, William Buffett was out on the airwaves today. Always interesting to find out that the man that called options sewage made $1.5 billion last year in them. What can you say about the guy? He makes a lot of money for a lot of people, and you got to be happy for that. If you listen to him, though, he's more likely saying what he would like you to hear than maybe the absolute truth. But I don't think anybody would use their wife's divorce attorney. They'd probably get their own attorney, and I have a feeling that he is the opposition. He's not your buddy. Has a lot of folksy sayings, but a lot of times what he has to say probably like a double agent out there, you have to sift through it. Anyway, I wanted to get into stocks fairly early because there were a lot of them giving signals. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. What else do we have? We got a lot of stocks just kind of popping along the top out here. One of the ones that I thought was kind of interesting is Activision Blizzard. Wanted to see if this thing was going to give us a signal. Light volume on Friday. Tried to go a little higher here today. ATVI is the symbol on this one. You're going up against the March 14th high at $15.08. 11 million shares against, 4.8 million shares so far today. So one of these ones that looks like half the volume is pretty much set in. This thing looks like it could get back into the $13 range and start probably at support right in there. Would not be surprised to see it pull back in there. Some of the other stocks that look interesting also, CNO Financial Group. CNO had basically we're looking at three tops out here. Not a lot of volume today, just getting to a million shares. We've got 5.1 million on February 20th at 11.44. You got a little higher on March 14th at 11.68, 3.3 million. Of course, in the last couple of days up here, we had 1.5 million or 1.6 million on Friday, and about a million shares today as we go even a little higher. So a lot of these stocks out here just suffering from a lack of volume, a lot of double and triple tops, and we're going to go through some of those today. Last couple I'm looking at is Rockwell Collins, COL. That's the symbol on that one. Of course, the big industrial company. Last major high on this was March 20th. 1.6 million shares the last couple of days. 500,000, 300,000 today. So, what can you say? Another one of these things just up on very light volume. Oh, after the bell, I wanted to talk about that. I think we've got two companies that I think are going to be very interesting. First one is First Solar, FSLR, I think it's the symbol. Well, I got into it. This thing's up against some long-term resistance, and I wanted to go back and show that. This will be after the bell. This thing's still got 36% short interest, so don't be surprised of the action in this thing. The energy has been kind of interesting the last few weeks out here, but mostly a short squeeze. Look for this thing with decent earnings to hit that $50.20 high from February 9th. If this thing has bad earnings, look for this thing to go right back down to the $35 range. Company does not make any money. I don't expect that they say that they will be making money tonight. But it is one of those companies that had become so short that short squeeze was pretty much in it. IWN, the Russell 2000 Index Value Fund. This thing's up here at the very highs, Again, not a lot of volume in the IWN today. It is looking at the March 15th highs at $84.62 with 1.1 million shares. You had higher volume, but it couldn't break through it on April 11th. And you're back into it today with about 760,000. This thing could conceivably get the kind of volume to at least match that first high. Although to be safe, I'd want to see that 1.4 million share high on April 11th. But we'll see how this thing comes in. There's a few out here that kind of about half and half. Johnson Controls, another one of the big manufacturers in the automotive sector. This one didn't come in as light as some of the others. 5.8 million shares on March 28th for the highest volume. This thing's been kind of went over for a while. It's coming back into this high. Now, you could almost make an argument that the 25th of March, or April, 25th of April push up here with 4.5 million shares was the last high. But we're back into that now with like 1.1 million shares so far today. So we are getting up in a lot of these against very heavy resistance. Shinry Energy looks like it popped its head above the last high volume high. That was on March 28th with 10 million shares. We've got about 2.8 million shares so far. When we look at LNG, of course, and it makes me think of UNG also. And this thing it probably got up to that 24s and has rolled over fairly quickly. Wanted to take a quick look at that before the break. And what is that? This thing's back to support right now. I think that we're probably going to get a chance to buy this thing in the summer. This is probably the original head fake in natural gas. This last move to $24.09. And I'd like to see this thing probably buy it again maybe late July or August. When we start seeing how this thing settles out. But continues to, the natural trade is your short natural gas and long crude. So crude kind of moved up here over the last week or so. Natural gas pulls back. And just kind of a natural long short that is out there so big becomes almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. Microchip technology. This is another one up here at its highs. Testing the highs from February 14th, $37.63, 6 million shares. Came in with 4 million shares on Friday, making a little hammer up here on 1.8 million shares so far. So doesn't look to me like this thing's going to be breaking through anytime soon. I'll say it one more time. MCHP, he said. Anyway, having a great day out here. The weather is fantastic. Once again at the headquarters of Technical Trading and Investing, TFNN.com. And look forward to your phone calls here today.
TFNN is excited to launch our brand new software charting program, The Art of the Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind software, Art of the Charts allows you to scan for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, butterflies, ABCs, and much more. Art of the Charts is designed to help you when scouring the market for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, and even months searching to find. As part of our introductory pricing, we're offering licenses available at only $59 per month. We're so confident that you'll love this new outstanding piece of charting software that we'll even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Lock in your low price today by ordering your copy at TFNN.com.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Just before the bottom of the hour, we've got gold up $5. We've got crude up 48 cents. Let's see if we got anything else moving out here. It looks interesting. Dollar index is up 16 cents. Maybe that's put a little cold water on this move, and maybe why we're only up 6 points. Of course, we know that the market only goes one way, and that is up. Just like the housing market, it only goes one way up. Anyway, I wanted to look at a couple of ones. One that had really interested me was IBM. As soon as IBM got blown apart, everybody had to dive back into it because, of course, you've got to own IBM, just like you have to own everything else. Maybe they're getting people back into that mindset yet again. IBM's earnings were pretty poor. They haven't grown revenues in 10 years, but they continue to fire employees and basically replace them, well, mostly in India, for about a fourth the cost, and that always makes their earnings per share move up. I suspect they're getting very close to the end of the road with that kind of plan, and they're going to probably have to start spending some money, much like Intel did, to start building up their business yet again. But at the moment, as long as they can keep it up and buying back shares with the cash that they do make, it's not a company that doesn't make any money. It's just a company that makes their EPSs by two things, and that's cutting employees and buying back shares to hold the market up. I think probably a little bit of what they've done out here is buying back shares. But it has set up an ABC down that looks very interesting. And it certainly got to the 618. It actually got to a 625 retracement, or 62.5% of the move down off of $215.90 down to its low at 187.68 that we saw just 10 days ago? Is it now? April 22nd. So as we look at IBM, what would if this is, you're in this gap, which is going to be heavy resistance. If this is an ABC down, it takes you to 177. So what are we going to look back at here? And that is keep going back until maybe we find something that looks like 177. There's a nice little gap there. There's actually a couple of gaps, one at about 183, the next one at about 177. Both of those have some high volume, 9 million share days. And you could see, if the market does roll over here, you can see it. What we do have in IBM, though, still is a fairly high volume high out here that's not been retested at 215.90. So there's probably better fish in the sea out here. But I think we'll probably, for a while, this thing would have to consolidate to even get a chance to go up and hit that 215 again. But starting to pull back again today on a day when the market's up a little bit out here. So we'll take a look at that. Oh, other stocks out here that we wanted to look at was, let me get a look at it here. Monster Beverage Corp. They had a little bit of news out here today. I think they're getting sued by the city of San Francisco for a legal product. Again, the nanny state is going to tell us what to eat and what we can and cannot do. Because, of course, they are the smartest people in the room, and we're just a bunch of dummies that don't know that caffeine is in Monster Energy drinks. We're just a bunch of dolts drooling on ourselves all day long. So all the nannies in San Francisco have to take care of us. Anyway, Monster Beverage was showing some weakness, MNST. And that is, it tested its high from December 12th at 57.36 with almost 4 million shares. Got into it on April 24th with 2.6 million shares. So not a big surprise out here that this thing is moving back and probably in a bigger trading range from about this last low on March 12th, $45.38. But showing a little weakness out here. NCR, let's go to a little shorter one out here. Another one that's up here at highs with a very light volume. National Cash Register, $29.76. 4.3 million shares on February 8th. We're getting into this last couple of days with 2.1 million shares on Friday. Very light, going to be under probably 1.1 million for today. But if it closes back over it, maybe this thing can start pulling in some volume. But looking at a lot of light volume in these stocks. NASDAQ, actually, it's coming back and challenging its huge gap. So we're going to be watching this in the AQ when we come back. And you can always give me a call, 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648.
Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives you Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. With Market Insights, nothing is left to guessing. With the market at record levels, volatility is here, and now is a perfect time to take advantage of a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights. As recently as March 26th, Tom advised his subscribers to liquidate their 4 short short-term equity holdings, closing out all 4 positions for a combined 15.9% profit. And on April 1st, Tom advised his clients to sell their longer-term position in AIG warrants, locking in more than a 40% profit in just that one trade. If you'd like to see the kind of newsletter Tom O'Brien sends out to his subscribers each morning, then sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at Nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're going to get back to the stock we were talking about in just a minute. We do have a phone call, and we're going to put him right to the head of the line. And that's Robert in Loveland, Colorado. Still buried under some snow out there, Robert?
No, actually, it's all melted. Today's 65 and beautiful sunny.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
So it's good.
So we want to talk about what today?
Away, A-W-A-Y.
Home Away, together with subsidiaries, operates an online marketplace for the vacation rental industry worldwide. Huh, okay.
I was just wondering, do you think it will make it back to that 27 or even fill the gap and go lower to...
I think it certainly is going to hit that gap at 27. I think that probably wouldn't be a bad deal. It's got a little higher high out here. And if the market still looks good when this thing gets down there, it would be kind of good. You got a higher low out here, a higher volume low at 29.06. from the May 2nd compared to the April 5th low. So you had, what, about 20% more volume at that low. So, yeah, I'm going to say that you've got a good chance it's going to get into that candle of the 21st of February that came up with almost 4 million shares. So you're going to have good support at that level and probably not a bad risk-reward trade in there.
Yeah.
I don't know much about them. Do you know much about this company?
I don't really. I just look at the charts is all. I really do. Yeah. And I was just getting tempted, but I kind of look like where she's coming down today that it may. Yeah,
this thing's probably going to drift down into that candle. And what's the high of that day out there? High 28.74.
Yeah.
So that's where you'd start looking at this thing is 28.74, and the bottom of that low is 27. I think you're probably going to have to take your shot in there somewhere, and you'd probably say, you've got that nice little doji set up. I normally, if I'm going to take a shot, hope that it put my buy order in about halfway into the gap, and then you're going to look at probably 25 as your exit point out here if it closes below 25. So I'd probably buy it at 26, sell it on a close below 25. I think you're probably going to get like 5 minutes where this thing shoots down, and you might get that, maybe put an order in for 26.10 or something like that.
Okay.
And I think that would probably be as close. Of course, you want to make sure the markets, the wheels haven't fallen off by then.
Yeah.
But I think you could get a couple of days pullback here. I think we've got a pretty high probability that we're going to get back to 1595, and if that holds, then we're probably going to be off to the races to the upside. If it doesn't hold, then I think this whole market could fold. But I think we've got probably a good 80-90% chance we see 1595 out here, or 1596, something like that on the S&P cash, and that may be that would probably be the closest point you're going to get to buy this thing if you want to go long it. Okay.
Great. I appreciate that, David.
You bet.
Really like the way you analyze those charts.
Well, call more often.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks much.
Thank you.
We were talking about the NASDAQ OMX before the bottom of the hour. This one was kind of interesting. It came down on heavy volume, of course, of 11.5 million shares on the 2nd of April. And it's been working its way back in for a while. Again, not a bad, real bad miss out here. Of course, NASDAQ kind of the odd man out with the New York Stock Exchange in league with markets in and across Europe. But this thing is gotten probably fairly close. You might see this thing hit $31, but certainly no kind of volume out here right now that suggests we're going to have a lot higher price out here. You can make a good case that this thing had 11 million shares on the 2nd of April and about 2 million shares on the 22nd. That's where this thing kind of bottomed out. So you've got your automatic rally going here. Again, I'd probably look, if you were thinking of shorting something like this, probably not enough meat on the bone, but very interesting when the broad market stocks out here looking a little weak. But this thing could be, maybe $31 would be a good turning point for it. PRI is the next symbol. It's Prime America. This thing was challenging the highs with very light volume on Friday, 318,000 shares. Today we've got 85,000 shares. So this one, $3, $4 trading range, not so bad, but going up against 2.7 million shares from the February 8th high at 34.35. This thing just no volume today, and again, like a lot of these stocks not out here. We already looked at QIHU, and again, I wanted to see if not much more volume out here. You need to get about, depends on how you look at it, but that January 24th high out here at 8 million shares, and we're at about half that now. Could this thing really get up and blow through those tops? It's going to be kind of interesting to see whether that happens or not. And I think at the beginning of the show, we were looking at a little longer time frame. Maybe it was get a few more swings out here. But yeah, that highest volume swing out here was the January 24th, 7.9 million shares. So we kind of have to look at that as the yardstick for coming in on May 6th. Half volume so far today. So we'll have to figure out whether that's going on. And someone's cooking popcorn again today in the studio. These guys just like to torture me, I think, in here with bad disco music and now popcorn smell when I can't be eating any. So we'll have to talk to those guys in here. Reinsurance Group of America, RGA. Another one up here with very light volume. RGA is the symbol on this. February 1st out here, 6186, 1.7 million shares. And we're getting into this with very light volume, 900,000 shares on the 30th of April. We've had very light volume since then. And again, the last couple of days, 215 today, 450,000 on Friday. So as we get on some of these, it's fairly light. I wanted to go ahead and, while we're waiting, go ahead and update the volumes and prices on the S&P cash so we can track this thing as we go through the day. If I can get it update. What do we have out here? Okay, where's our S&P? Okay, 1619, excuse me, on the S&P cash, 2.2 billion shares. So 200 million shares since the beginning of the show. That's been 42 minutes. That projects out to about 2.9 million shares. I can't really think of anything big out tonight that would have a lot of people pulling back and waiting till tomorrow to really start putting some cash to work right now. But that's probably why I'm expecting this pullback to 1595, 1596 on the S&P cash. And I think right there we're going to have the opportunity to get out of this thing. If you're short, and whether or not you want to go long will probably be told by how strong the volume is out here. Anyway, Semigroup, SEMG, another one of these up here with very light volume. Million shares on April 11th, 5506. Broke through on Friday on 260,000 shares. Another day with like 92,000 shares out here. So a lot of stocks out here on lighter volume. We have kept up on the ProShares Ultra 500. Again, the volume on that hasn't been all that exciting. We saw the April 11th high come in with 5.6 million shares in the SSO, and fairly good. We've had 4.3 million shares and 2.4 million shares today. So I suspect we're probably going to have a good opportunity, at least on these indexes, to pull back at least in a couple of days and get maybe a chance either to go long if we think this thing's really ready to tear us a new one to the upside, or go out there. What do we have out here? Tyson Foods kind of rolled over here a little bit today. I don't know if you can make that much of it. One thing I was looking at is the three successive lighter volume highs. February 19th, 5.1 million shares, 4.7 million shares on April 2nd. And, of course, on May 3rd out here we had 3.9 million shares. Not an uncommon pattern out here in this marketplace. UYG, which is a ProShares Ultra Financials. This thing has had I need to get a click out here. I hope I haven't been missing today's volume. There it is in this market. But the high volume out here at or very light volume, excuse me. What can we say about that? I'll have to check and see that's right. UYG. Let me try just real quick. See if there's something wrong with this. UYG. Average volume. Why didn't they have regular volume today? Net assets. Okay. Days range, volume. 168,000 shares. So that is wrong, 41,000 shares. I'll have to find out about that later. But what do we have? 342,000 on Friday out here. Probably can't make that much out of it. WebMD, This one is very interesting because it's going against some very long-term gaps out here. This thing is popping back up into this trading range. It came down on just monstrous volume. That was on the 10th of January in 2012 on 11.6 million shares. That gap has held up, what is that, like a 7-point gap? For a long time. Even the gaps we're hitting against it right now on WebMD were almost 4 million shares. This thing's going through with 200,000 shares today. Certainly looks like some of these are going to be very, very thin. XLF, as we look at this, it really hadn't done anything. Thought that there was an opportunity for this thing to maybe make an abandoned baby out here today. It's up fairly strong, probably on, what is it, MBIA? Is it MBI, I think is the symbol? Maybe that's it. Yep, that's it. MBI basically finding out today that they will not be forced out of business. They had a lot of lawsuits around all the loans. They made some kind of grand bargain, and now that everybody knows that they won't be going out of business, just rocketed up about 40% today, and that put the juice pretty much in those financial stocks. Zumiez was another one out here. This one's back where it started to fall apart on heavy volume. That was on, August 31st of last year. Came down on 3.8 million shares. It's in here with about 500,000 shares today. So we've got a lot of these stocks that are coming back on light volume. We're going to probably get into a little bit of the charts with timing the art of the chart. And see, I wanted to download the Gartley list here. Maybe look and see how these worked out today. Advanced Auto Parts was the one out here that was kind of interesting because it's trying to buck its X dollar high from November 1st of last year, $84, 4.3 million shares. And again, very light volume on Friday, kind of doing a little doji out here today. But this one's off about 25% on the energy on this last leg up, CDD leg out here. It's got just a little bit of resistance above it. It hasn't hit its D target. That would be 87.80. And we'll be able to look at that one here probably in a couple of days and see whether or not it's tested its high. Again, these are all from the art of the charts Gartley scan. We were looking at Aflac, which is kind of interesting today. This one, energy is not all that bad. You wanted to see 3.7 million shares as it went through the X point. When we look at this, did you really get that? You can see you came close on the 29th of April. We've got 3 million. You came close. You never got 3.7, did you? So it is broken that previous high on lighter volume. But I'm not going to say the energy is horrible. The volume is the last 4 or 5 days since it's gone through the B and X point out here. I like my Gartley's a little bit more symmetrical. This one kind of made a test of the high on the B point and a test of the A point on probably a little bit more of a retracement I would like. So probably find other ones to look at out here, but kind of interesting. This one is probably a much better setup, in my opinion, at least in Gartley terms, probably not in actual trading terms. Acorn, AKRX is the symbol on this thing. What do we have on it? It needed to break through its X point with 2.4 million shares. And we had 675,000. Very light volume out here through the last few days. Nothing that would make me think that X point from January 17th with 2.4 million shares had been busted. Light volume. We're going to talk a little bit more about the power law vector indicator, but this is one that looks like it's fairly extended out here. So we'll talk about that when we get back. You can always give me a call, 877-927-6648. Don't give up an opportunity to talk to Disco Steve.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to tfnn.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of tfnn.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to tfnn.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of tfnn.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at tfnn.com.
All the ladies were treating me right, moving my feet to the disco beat.
If you ever wondered why the terrorists hate us, is there a better example of why? I know that we put them in Gitmo, we've taken pictures of them in a pile at Abu Ghraib, but if we pointed this at them and played it loud, would they not say it's the greatest injustice? I have a feeling that there's a chance that they could say Disco Duck was the was the worst thing that anybody did, and probably why. I'm trying to remember the guy who did it. He's a DJ, Rick Dees. Probably why Rick Dees does deserve the death penalty. Anyway, let's get rid of that right now. My ears are starting to bleed. Anyway, looking at some great stocks out here, it was just thinking of a few of these. I wanted to look and see how they were setting up for Gartley patterns. We've got Corning out here. Not too bad out here. A very light, very long, extended to move up here to about the $15 mark. This thing had been fairly shorted, and I think we had a lot of these stocks the last 4-10 days, something like that, have had a little bit of a short squeeze. And again, you started off with some fairly decent volume. Once you get up past the X points on a lot of these, they are starting to fade fairly quickly. I wanted to check in on Triquint here. This is another one that's right up to the actual high in it. So we're looking at some of these that did kind of try to spike out here. But this pretty close to a huge move. And that is what else can you do about this? I mean, it's you've got some of these nice Gartley patterns setting up. And this one may actually get back up to the $6 range in Triquint. Of course, you're not going to short it, but if you were along this thing, probably would have been a good time to take your money. So sell and buy the D points out here. Oh, we got a phone call and just saw it. How you doing today, Wayne?
Oh, good. Pretty good.
So we're looking at LinkedIn, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing with this?
I bought some calls after earnings.
Well, that's good because I'm on the opposite side of this trade from you. I had puts before earning. What are you thinking on this? Came down with heavy volume, and you're probably going to do one or two things. What are your puts or your calls for? May?
180.
Yeah, but are they Mays?
Yes.
Okay. You're probably going to get a couple of days of flat movement out here, and that's probably going to be it. But you came down on monster volume. The most likely thing is probably this thing's going to go sideways for a few days before it breaks up or down. And either you or I are going to be right. But but I have a feeling this thing wants to get down to that 160 level. There's a little gap back there and possibly into the 140s over some time. It did have a pretty disappointing earnings forecast, and a lot of people tried to put some lipstick on this pig, but it just down on monstrous volume, and one of two things happens on monstrous volume. One, it starts a bigger leg down, or two, it starts consolidation. So probably not a great... you bought them on Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking it'd be like Amazon. It might bounce back.
Well, think about Amazon tonight. We only got a couple of seconds. The internet sales tax vote is tonight, I think, at 6:30. So keep an eye on that. But I'm thinking it's headed more down to the 140 range out here for you. But you're going to know in 2 days. I'll cover it on tomorrow's show. Anyway, thanks, Wayne. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time, same horrible Disco Steve playing bad disco music.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just one position. If you'd like to try out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page at TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.